Hello, listeners. RJ here. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. A few things before the usual babbling before our main content. First, I'd like to let you know that we have a special episode coming up in a few weeks. A few of us recently recorded an episode with a very special guest while on vacation in Michigan's Upper Peninsula over Memorial Weekend, and I'd like to say it's probably one of our funniest recordings yet. We're very excited to share it with you, so be on the lookout for that. The second thing is that Brandon will not be in this episode, as something came up about an hour before recording, so this episode ended up being a last-minute, more traditional dungeon crawl type of session that Harrison threw together last minute, which I'd say really shows just how skilled he is at crafting stories and also adapting. If you like our show, please make sure to share it with your friends. It's one of the best ways to grow our listening audience. If your podcast service includes it, please leave us a review and a rating. It really helps us, both on those platforms and also, feedback in general is nice. Remember, we're on most forms of social media, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. Our updates will primarily come from Twitter. If you'd like to make a post about the show, make sure to use the hashtag RealmsNerds. That's all one word, RealmsNerds. Once again, thank you to our friend Kyle for composing the main theme. We really appreciate you, bud. Thank you, listener, for listening. We really appreciate you. And now let us return to the realm of the Return of Ornon. Previously, on Realms and Nerds, the Return of Ornon.
When the elves vanquished the dragons that lived inside of the mound, they threw all of their carcasses into a giant heap, leaving just the bones behind. When the dwarves settled and started their quest for more and more wealth, they also attracted some various religious factions. One of them took the bones of these vanquished dragons and fashioned it into a giant house of meditation, prayer, and training. And this is where we find Mikhail.
This temple that he was raised in is actually the temple of Bahamut, who is the dragon god of good and war. But since Bahamut is also a god of war, his studies were not only in the books and scriptures, but also in the combat and art of war.
You see arrayed before you the ruins of what was once the greatest city in the world, and you have now reached the Garden of Stone. So, as you know, Seebo's black fox, Oxel, often goes out to help recon the land for him, looking for different dangers or bringing news back to him. So, right before you guys are about to leave the forest and enter the desert at the beginning of the Garden of Stone, Oxel returns with some pretty terrible news. Timber's Crest has fire all around it. The forests around that area are burning, small fires all throughout, the woodland creatures have scattered, and most concerning, there is the body of a half-elf woman that, under cover of darkness, was hauled right near the gates of the city and carefully and meticulously disemboweled.
Well, so we can rule out my messing up as the source of this danger, because somebody had to use that as cover to get that half-elf disemboweled.
Yes, so the body has been torn apart, but perfectly arrayed on the ground, that has been cut apart, except all of the internal organs are missing. So, because of the combination of the fire throughout the forest and the disemboweled corpse, Mikhail suspects that Malleoculus might be involved in this attack on the city. And so, to confirm it, because he is most knowledgeable of the forest and has his fox to guide him, Seebo has gone to investigate the disturbance at this city of Timber's Crest, while everyone else tries to do what they can here on the southern edge of the wasteland while they await for his return. So, the party camps out in the forest for about a day or so, and then you decide that a small scouting mission would be in order, because you have no idea how long it's going to take Seebo to return with this news. You decide to venture on into the wasteland a little ways. So, at the spot where you've made camp, you leave some instructions for Seebo on how to find you. I think that beforehand, because Seebo is, kind of this character that, has been around a lot and knows a lot of sort of subterfuge tricks, he kind of gave you some special instructions on how to leave sort of a coded message that he would know how to follow, sort of a cipher of his own design. So you leave him this note that gives him some directions on how to find the way that you have gone into the wasteland.
Did he basically
also known as Thieves' Cant?
Did he basically just teach us a very rudimentary version of Thieves' Cant?
So it's not... Yes and no. It's
more like a shadow mark?
It's based off of the idea of Thieves' Cant. However, anyone that's a thief can read Thieves' Cant, or anyone that's learned Thieves' Cant can read this. So... long ago, Seebo although he wants to be liked by people, he's also somewhat untrusting of people because he himself is, to a degree, untrustworthy. And you know that untrustworthy people are the most untrusting. And so he has developed his own version that's a variation of Thieves' Cant specifically for leaving short instructions so that in this way he can tell not only like in this case where he wants to keep it disguised, but he has used it before when people are leaving him messages so that he can know that the person leaving him a message is the person that he specifically is trying to talk to and not somebody else that is, sort of impersonating. And it's helped him to avoid some sort of sting operations by the law in the past.
Does that mean that we carved into a rock northwest?
Yes. Okay, so we left him a message. So we left him a message.
Basically, but slightly more specific than that, kind of giving him the general lay of the land the way that you intend to go. But the Garden of Stone basically dominates the southern part of the eastern wasteland. The Garden of Stone is the ruins of a city that was built before the first age of this world.
For fucking ever.
So,
first civilization, basically.
yes, this was before the recorded history of what is known in this world. There are a few people that are really kind of scholars of the ancient times that know sort of fragments of what this civilization was. But for large part, it has been lost to memory. And so now what it is, because we basically have this area where large buildings, we're talking about like castles and buildings that were of a size that even today is sort of unheard of. Like freestanding buildings that reached over 30 stories tall, made of stone that have now crumbled or fallen over. This is a civilization that had advancement and capabilities beyond really even what anybody today is capable of. But somehow, and this is the part that's really kind of, nobody has any idea how this happened. Somehow, this civilization that seemed to have more advancement and knowledge than anybody else was laid to waste. And nobody knows what happened or how this waste happened, yet it did, because we today have this ruin of a society. We have no idea who lived there. So, this is the scene that you see yourself walking into. You sort of there's like a kind of a gradual hill that gets increasingly steeper going on for about a half a mile. By the end of the climb, you're actually at a pretty good angle. I mean, we're talking probably a 30 to 40 degree angle on this climb. But when you reach the top of this hill, you can see sort of stretching out into the horizon the ruins of this city. And what you notice is the entire city is basically inside of a bowl. The landscape slopes down, and the city is built sort of into this sloping area that goes down towards the center. And so, the entire city you can see is on this bowl area. And actually, as you look out into the east, the bowl actually scoops up right into the edge of the sea. And so, almost this entire city is actually below sea level.
So we know how it ended.
Right on the edge of
Hurricane
the sea.
Katrina hit him.
I was thinking a meteor struck and created a giant crater and sunk the city.
Wouldn't the city be obliterated then?
Right. The whole
I mean,
thing
there's
would be
its
collapsed.
remains.
Those would be
The city
some
would be
sturdy
collapsed.
buildings.
Yeah, the skyscrapers of stone are still standing, but we killed everybody. Oh, no,
Okay, so that's what we're looking at.
Otherwise, the crater would be filled.
Oh,
So we're at the top of the edge of the
sinkhole.
crater, basically?
Yeah, so basically that would be a good assessment. The entire city sits inside of a massive, almost like a crater, but like a bowl, like it scoops in. Even, like I said, even on the seaside, the wall is built up just past sea level.
Can I do a
Does it appear man-made, or does it appear that it is a natural cataclysm that has created the bowl?
Wouldn't it be hard to differentiate?
At this point,
No, that would be actually very easy to differentiate. Take, for instance, like the amphitheaters at Athens. They carved them out of the mountains and hills, right?
Mhm.
So, basically, if it appears man-made, it looks shaped, but if it's like a cataclysm, it would be like a meteor strike happened, or there was a sinkhole.
so I will say this. This happened a long time ago. I think I may have mentioned this or not before, but this adventure takes place in the 7th age of this world. Mm-hmm. And so this civilization was an old, kind of ancient civilization before the first age of recorded history.
So more than a couple of millennia.
So at this point, it is hard to tell whether or not it was man-made or something happened. I will say that the slope going down to the middle seems to be fairly uniform, and that even in the center of the divot or crater or whatever you want to call it, none of the buildings seem more or less demolished than any of the other buildings.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can see anything from in the distance?
Okay.
That's a 10.
So, you can't really discern a lot, except for the fact that even though the civilization and the city itself are dead, this area is not dead in the sense that it's not devoid of life. Long ago, the area was overtaken by various thieves and bandits. I mean, again, this is,
Kind of like the Badlands of South Dakota.
I mean, this covers basically the entire southern portion of the eastern wastelands. So some people that are trying to get farther north have tried to venture through this area on some of the old roads that were built in here, which obviously makes these roads sort of a target of bandits or other people. And then on top of that, just the general nature of the topography makes it such that someone who knows the area well can quickly vanish into this area because there's so many buildings that have fallen over and just kind of random jumbles. Oftentimes criminals try to use this area to disappear from the law that's chasing them. And then on top of that,
So, Badlands of South Dakota.
there's also rumors that because of the ancient nature of this area, that there are other more aggressive and old foes that lurk in these areas. So much so, in fact, that the center sort of square mile of this area is, for anyone that comes through the region or knows the region, they completely avoid the area directly in the middle because there are so many stories and adventurers that have not returned from that area
Sounds like the place we need to go.
that it just it's sort of a no-fly zone, if you will. Everyone avoids that, even if it takes them more time or effort. Nobody wants to go into the center of the Garden of Stone.
So we're standing on a hill, right? Overlooking this. The Garden of Stone. You'll never find more wretched hive of scum and...
That's beautiful. It works so well. Okay.
No, but for real, as we're looking over as we're kind of looking over this, Joan comments, "You could fit a lot of milk in this bowl."
Rhomash starts walking down the hill.
I was actually going to do a strength check to throw Joan down the edge of the bowl.
Can I help him, assist him with that? Give him advantage on the roll?
Can I do...
Alright, so I get advantage on the roll?
You get advantage because I'm helping
It's
you.
not... Okay, hold on. It's not that kind of a bowl.
So we're doing a strength contest?
Okay, guys, seriously.
That'd be a 17.
Nat 20 plus 2. You try to grab me, I grab you and throw you down the hill.
I just watched these two
Okay,
idiots fly.
it's not that kind of a bowl.
Anyway.
And as you roll down the hill, as you wish.
As you guys sort of take a walk down this hill, and again, even though the slope to get up on the initial side was a pretty steep hill, as you crested the hill and start to go down, this hill is a fairly gentle slope. The most we're talking about here in any area is about a 10-degree slope. So this is a gentle, kind of sloping glide down into the center. As you are coming down the edge of the hill, you come across a cleverly hidden burrow into the ground. So, we have the slight slope of the hill, and basically what has happened here is there was an area where a building tipped over, and so it sort of made a flat area coming out and extending from the edge of the hill, and underneath the stonework of that, hidden into the ruins of the building, is a tunnel that goes down into the side of the hillside.
Are we talking about, wind has pulled sand up from the ground to create kind of dunes on the side of this building, so it's kind of like an enclosed kind of structure, almost built into the ground? Kind of sealed off, if you will,
Sort of, yeah. So this has definitely been dug out by somebody. But the idea is that it's been disguised, sort of, the hole is hidden underneath the ruins of where the building fell. So, unless you are right on top of it or you're looking for it, you're not going to see that this is here. So, after a little bit of deliberation, the three of you decide that this warrants some investigating, and given that you don't want to go too far, you want to kind of secure the area near where you are to kind of be ready when Seebo comes back. You decide to go and investigate this little burrow and see what's inside.
I'd like to do an Arcana check on the burrow.
Okay.
Oh boy, that's a 6.
A 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you don't feel anything. It's a hole.
Well, yeah, I don't feel anything, but what do I learn about the Arcana checks?
You do not sense any arcane energy here
Okay.
at all.
I'll do an Arcana check.
Alright.
That is 15.
This entire area has a magical aura to it. Everything like the ground, the buildings, all of it just kind of radiates sort of a residual magical energy. So you pick up on that, but outside of that, there's not much that you see. After having decided that you guys are all going to go in and investigate what's inside of this burrow, you, I guess, before you head in, is there any kind of preparation you want to do? You guys want to grab anything?
We kind of took a day and a half rest before this journey.
Yeah, so
wasted all of...
I guess I should have said you guys definitely took a long rest.
Oh, we're well past that. We've established that.
Did we officially establish that? Okay, so yeah, if you haven't rolled hit points or whatever,
We just regain all our...
You regain all hit points.
oh yeah, that's right.
leveling
Yeah,
up.
that's right. Long rest is all hit points. Yes.
I'm gonna do a strength check to throw Joan Redsun into the hole. That would be...
Are we actually doing this one?
Sure.
Fuck me.
not?
Ooh, down a hill, it's a no-go, but into a dungeon we go. What'd you roll?
12.
10.
Okay. So,
How did you roll a 12? That's a 6.
Oh wait, yeah, my
You rolled a
strength.
9,
No, my strength modifier is a +3.
and that's a 6.
Oh,
Woo! That is.
I grabbed him and
That's
threw
a
him in the dungeon. I'm not drunk enough for this.
So I guess what happens is Mikhail, trying to play a little prank like the prankster he is,
Go first.
gives Joan a little push to try and shove him into the burrow, but Joan
That ain't happening.
ain't about that shit. So he actually, Joan, can you throw me an athletics check real quick?
Sure. 10.
Joan actually, as he gets pushed forward, tries to grab onto the edge of the stonework and do a little, like, cool spin around to not go in. And he messes it up and he kind of falls, but he definitely doesn't go into the hole. So he's a little embarrassed, but he didn't end up falling
Gets
into
up,
the
dusts
hole.
himself off.
He's
Pulls
fine.
out his revolver, whirls it around, points it at Mikhail, whirls it back around, and puts it back in the holster.
Can we see anything in the burrow from where we're standing?
I have dark vision.
So does he.
Should we
Okay.
roll a perception check?
If you want to. Yeah.
Why not?
Alright.
Why are you rolling 7? You don't have dark vision.
I can try. And I'll roll a 4.
Guys, it's
A
not
4?
quite as dark.
Yeah, it's-
Actually, technically, it's a 7.
With a 4, okay, with a 7, it's dark.
Okay.
You can tell it's dark in there.
Critical fail.
You guys can see colors. You didn't even
You
look.
want the
And the
burrow.
color you see inside of the in the hole is black.
how did
Right.
both of us cast a critical fail?
I'm going to throw a firebolt in there
Okay.
to try and kind of light the corridor up.
How far does it go?
Firebolt has a range of 120 feet.
Alright.
And let me see, it is... Yeah, you hurl a bolt of fire at a creature or object within range, well, that's the rest of it's just about, like, trying to deal damage to it, but I'm not trying to attack it.
Can you make an attack roll against...
I'm not trying to make... That's what I'm saying, the
Nothing?
rest of it is about rolling to, like... I guess I could roll to see, like, if it works.
He makes it
throwing
in the
there.
hole.
Yeah, if I can actually get it in the hole.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we'll just...
Like, throw it towards what I assume is a back
just
wall.
throw me a roll. I don't really
Alright.
see there being...
21.
Yeah, I mean, you're standing right there. So
Alright,
yeah, it
what
makes
do
it
we
in the hole.
see as it's flying down the corridor?
Well, you launch a firebolt into this hole, and as it flies through, it hits about 50 feet in, it hits a wall, and so when it sort of impacts there, you can see that the corridor kind of curves to the right, and
That's a crazy throw.
I cast Dancing Lights. It's one of my cantrips.
What does it do?
It creates 4 torch-sized lights within range. You make them appear as torches, lanterns, or glowing orbs that hover in the air for the duration. You can also combine the 4 lights into one glowing, vaguely humanoid form of medium size, whichever form you choose. Each light sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius. As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the lights up to 60 feet to a new spot within range. Light must be within 20 feet of another light created by this spell. The light winks out if it exceeds the spell range.
I'm casting Produce Flame, and I'm walking in the burrow. I want to just get this moving.
I follow behind him.
What about you, Mikhail?
Mikhail, are you going to?
Yeah, lights are going with them.
Okay.
We're walking the door before it
So y'all have walked in. Joan, I need you to roll a perception check for me real quick.
19.
As you threw your firebolt into that burrow and it hit the wall in the back, you saw some small, sort of indistinguishable shapes near ground level that as the firebolt hit the wall sort of moved farther on down the tunnel.
Since I saw that walking in, I'm gonna have a dagger and my revolver both drawn.
Okay. Are you telling your...
Oh yeah, I've warned them about this movement.
And I always carry my shield on my arm whenever we're going into somewhere,
Okay.
just as a precaution.
Same.
But my sword is not drawn. 'cause I
So
got
wait,
this
are
sling
we gonna do a kind of formation where you have a shield going in front, and then you have a shield kind of covering our back, and I'm in the middle?
We can do that.
I mean, like, I always
'Cause
have
we're
a
in a
shield on
corridor.
my left arm.
Solid defense. And
Just
your
kind
AC.
of. So like, are you gonna walk in kind of sideways so your shield's kind of facing the way we came in, just in case of something? Because
I'm
imagine this
not at
corridor
the
is not
ready.
huge.
I'm not at the ready unless I'm warned about danger up ahead.
Well, I told you there was.
Okay, so this, I
Shapes.
to kind of set the stage here, this tunnel is only about 4 feet across
Yeah, so they put up their shields. They're basically covering
you
one
can't-
abreast.
You could walk one abreast. If you two abreast, you'd have to walk like staggered.
Shoulder to shoulder.
But
You'd be kind of a staggered sort of look, but you could do it if you wanted
I'm
to.
talking about us going single file. He's in the because he said he was in the front. and He had a shield, and I walked in.
Okay,
behind
well,
him.
I'll let you guys figure that out.
We're walking in a line.
Okay, so you're walking in, and you said you had your shield up. I'm saying, is Mikhail going to, since he's in the back, kind of cover our back with his shield?
He's
kind
watching the
Okay.
path ahead. So his shield is not guarding his back since his chainmail does.
Well, all right, that's how we're doing
We
it.
have no reason to look behind us for the most
Fair
part.
enough.
Continue.
I just thought it'd be really neat, especially with a small corridor.
A giant bear comes in behind you and balls me, Kyle. No, I'm just...
A fucking bear in the middle of the desert.
Seebo. No, you're a bear. No, I'm definitely Seebo. Seebo sent me.
Sea bear.
I'm Sea Bear.
Hey, boo-boo. I found some picnic baskets.
Hey, Mikhail, it is me, Sea Bear. Want to get some picnic baskets?
Alright.
Okay.
As you enter the burrow, you reach around that 50-foot mark where Joan's fireball impacted into the wall. And at that point, the tunnel takes a sort of a sloping arc of a right turn. And then this slow turn kind of ends up being at about a 90-degree turn. So at that point, you realize that this burrow has been built into the topography of sort of following the hill. And so it goes along that sort of area that way. So you proceed along this passage a little ways farther, at which point it finally opens up into at this point, a slightly bigger room. For those of you with dark vision, you can see that it's about 20 to 30 feet across, but still kind of continuing on as a tunnel. But within this room is 4 creatures that are crawling on the floor, and as this sort of light that Rhomash carries in his hand illuminates them better, you all can see that these are giant rats, and they look none too pleased that you are inside of the area that they call home. So, at this point, I would like you all to roll initiative.
I rolled 5.
18.
Ash?
I rolled a 19.
I
Okay.
think I rolled a 5.
You rolled a 5, a 2 plus the 3.
So you rolled a 5.
Plus the 3, so I got 5.
Okay. One of the rats is going to take a lunge at Rhomash, who was first in the door. It'll be a 7 versus AC.
Yeah, definitely not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it. So he's gonna take a lunge at you, and I think he's just gonna you're gonna kind of hold up your shield and just block him. He's gonna miss.
Cool.
So Rhomash, you were actually up next.
Okay, I can't draw my sword unless I get rid of this flame, so I'm just gonna cast this flame at the giant rat that just attacked me.
Okay.
8 against AC.
That is not going to hit. So I think what's going to happen here is this rat has sort of jumped at you and you blocked him with your shield, but then you just sort of hastily try to shoot a firebolt at him and were unable to hit him with this bolt. Joan is up next.
Alright, how far away are the rats that haven't attacked?
The ones that haven't attacked are still fairly close.
Okay.
The room itself is about 30 by 50.
Okay.
And they're about halfway, maybe a little bit closer. So they're fairly close to you.
Alright, cool, that works. Jonah's gonna take his revolver and use an acid splash bullet.
Okay.
Okay, so what it does, choose one creature within range or choose 2 creatures within range. They're within 5 feet of each other. And they're 5 feet of each other, right? All the rats
Yeah,
are
they're all
just
kind of
just
pretty
bunched
close,
together.
yeah.
Target, or I guess targets, must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 acid damage.
What's the range of that thing?
Okay.
60 feet.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, all my spells I chose are ranged spells because he's shooting them out of a bullet, so having them be, or he's like shooting a gun.
Anyways,
You have to roll dexterity saving throws.
yes. I'm just going against your modifier.
You're
then.
going against my spell save DC, I believe.
So one is in 10.
Okay.
The other one is 17.
Alright, one of them, it doesn't hit.
Were you shooting to the left side or to the right
I was
side?
shooting towards the. I guess it depends. Rhomash, are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
And I take it your weapon's in your right hand.
I didn't have my weapon out yet. I just cast the fire.
Okay, so I guess it's
flame
right.
in range.
I'm gonna.
hand would
Is
be
your
in his.
I'm gonna
shield
cast-
in your left?
I'm gonna.
Yes,
It doesn't
my
matter.
shield
I'm gonna
is
cast to the two that are. I'm
So
gonna cast the
cast
one
the
on the far left
firebolt.
and the one in the middle.
Okay.
Produce
That just depends on... the only reason it matters is so I know which ones would be potentially taking damage.
All right, whichever one takes damage is taking. So 2 damage.
So next up is going to be one of the rats. He also, I think, is going to take an attack at Rhomash.
Oh, shit.
16 versus AC.
Unfortunately,
Thunder wins.
Yeah, no. Actually, it's the roller. I discovered wins, as it turns out.
So he wins, correct?
He does win.
Okay, so he's going to do 5 points of damage on you. Next up is this other giant rat. He's actually going to, seeing the success of his companion, his comrade, he's actually going to jump past Rhomash and try to take a bite at Joan. So, 18 versus AC.
That's gonna hit.
Okay. That's going to be 3 points of damage.
All right.
So next up in the order is Mikael. What are you doing?
I'm attacking the rat nearest to me.
Okay, so that's going to be, I think that's going to be the rat that just attacked Joan. Then
This is my rapier. It's a 19.
that is going to hit him.
So 7 points of damage.
That rat, you slice at him with his rapier while he's sort of going at Joan. And I think that you get him just kind of perfect timing. You catch him right in the side of the neck, and this rat just like sort of seizes up and falls over. He is down.
Yes. Rats of unusual size.
So next up is the other rat, and he also is going to join his companions in attacking Rhomash. 17 versus AC.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. One frickin' battle we get.
4 points of damage on Rhomash.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so next up is another one of the rats. He saw Mikael kill his buddy, and so in retaliation, he's going to try to jump that way and get a hit off on Mikael. 19 versus AC.
Yeah, that'll hit.
That'll hit. Alright, so he is going to lunge forward and just like bite directly onto your face, Mikael, and he's actually going to hit you for 5 points of damage.
Ouch.
So next up is Rhomash, who's been taking quite a beating.
We're down to 3 rats.
There are 3 rats, yes. You killed the one.
I'm not dying.
None of those rats
I'm
have been
not
hit.
dying
They're
today.
all
I'm
full
casting Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay.
So I roll a d8 and add my spellcasting ability modifier. Okay, so I get 10 hit points back. I'm back to my maximum.
Okay, Rhomash has healed himself. Are you moving or are you staying right where you are?
I'm gonna actually move my ass over, I don't know, behind Mikael.
Behind Mikael? Okay.
To the rear.
So next up then is Joan.
Joan.
You have a clear line of sight on the 2 in front.
Yep.
So yeah, Joan, you are now in the front of the party.
Jonah's gonna take a shot with acid splash at those 2 rats.
The 2 in front of him?
That is correct.
Okay.
You need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 17 and 8.
The one that got 8 is gonna get hit.
Okay.
3 damage.
3 damage. Okay. Next up is one of the rats that's in front of Joan. And so now since Rhomash has retreated, he's gonna try to make a lunge at Joan. 12 versus AC.
That is not gonna hit.
Okay, but I have advantage, so I can roll again here. 16 versus AC.
That is gonna hit.
Okay, so we'll say he lunges at Joan, and Joan is initially kind of able to swat him off, but he's able to make sort of a second lunge and gets you in the side of the leg. And he gets you for 5 points of damage.
I'm mighty hurt over here.
Next up is Mikael.
So, rat 2. He rolls a 16.
16 is going to do it.
So 10.
Well,
They're not.
You thought you extra killed the other rat.
They're not the toughest kids on the block.
Yes,
we'll say, so what happens is Mikhail actually has a brief, I don't want to quite call it a vision, but it's not quite a flashback either. Almost a
Clear-sighted moment.
sort of a clear, we'll call it a clear-sighted recall of experience.
Deja
And just has this flash. And what he sees is an instructor in the temple years ago, back when he was small, not even fully grown. This is like literally like a 15-year-old Mikhail, a small child, and we see
120 years ago.
we see this instructor just drilling him on this tactic to use when confronting an enemy that is sort of scurrying or close to the ground, and this special move that the members in his order are taught. So what we see Mikhail do is he actually steps forward, swings his foot underneath the belly of this rat, kicking it into the air, and while it's midair, he swings his sword forward and slices the rat directly in half, and it falls to the ground in 2 pieces.
That's one hell of a rapier you got there, sir.
A little much, isn't it?
Never enough.
Well done.
So next is the rat that's a little ways in front of Rhomash, and so he is going to take a lunge at Joan, who's now in the front of the party here. 21 versus AC.
What if I told you that didn't hit?
You'd be lying.
You'd be so full of shit.
Oh boy.
That's going to be a 4.
I am down.
You're down?
I am down.
Great.
So
They bite harder than
this
rouse.
rat comes forward, and as it jumps, it's able to catch Joan in a moment when he's a little bit distracted, and actually latches directly onto his throat and takes a chunk out. And Joan just drops. We see him sort of sway and just fall over, and he is down.
Cowboy down.
Next up, we have Rhomash.
I'm gonna cast Produce Flame at Rat 4 here, over here. That is 13.
13 is gonna hit.
Okay. And he takes 4 fire damage.
So you hit one of these rats with a burst of fire, and as this firebolt hits him, he is engulfed and just kind of staggers around and then falls over, and this rat is also dead.
Good stuff.
So next up is Joan, and Joan, you need to make a fight for your life here.
Roll a 20 and get an HP back.
Or roll a 4.
That is going to be a fail, so Joan, you are down 1 failure in this.
Joan shudders on the ground.
Next up is the last rat that is still alive here, and seeing that Joan has fallen, he's actually going to jump over Joan's unconscious body and try to take a bite at Mikhail here. Gonna be 16 versus AC?
Not gonna pass with the shield.
Okay, so this rat takes a flying leap at you, and you are just able to get your shield up in time, and you sort of block him off to the side of you a little ways with the push of your shield here. Mikhail, you were actually up next in the order
I'm
here.
gonna cast Lay on Hands on
On to Joan.
Joe
Okay.
for 2 health points.
Okay.
I'm up.
So Jonah has 2 health points now.
Stop
It
sleeping on the
requires
job.
1 action, so I can't exactly do anything else as far as attack.
So basically you're just casting this on Joan and then you're
Yeah.
done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rhomash, you are up next then.
Okay, I'm gonna take my scimitar and attack the last rat with it.
Okay.
That's a 10.
A 10 is not going to do it. So you take a slice at this rat, and he is just, he's a little too wily to be hit. He kind of slides underneath.
Well, I am fucking
Your
tall,
sword.
so, I mean...
So next up in the order is Joan. So, Joan, you're actually, you're on the ground right now.
Yeah, he's gonna get up.
So you're gonna use your action to get up here?
Yep.
Okay.
Then Jones is gonna be like, alright, enough messing around. Holsters his gun, draws out his 2 daggers, and I'm just gonna throw them both at the rat.
Okay.
12.
That is gonna hit.
And that's gonna hit as well. It's 23.
Yes, that will hit.
So that is 7 points of damage. The second one does 3 damage.
Alright, so you throw your daggers here, and both of them just impact directly into this rat, and it, with a sort of a screeching keel, kind of falls over and is dead.
Now that's how it's done.
Nice knife throwing skills.
Thank you kindly.
So how much experience did we get for this fight?
You all get 33 points of experience.
Alright.
113.
I vote we take a short rest. I would very much like to have more than 2 hit points.
Sure, I don't have to spend any hit dice. I'm good with that.
I vote against it, if that counts for
Oh, well.
I just vote down. No.
No rest for the wicked.
Just like, man, I could use a mighty rest from the heavens.
No.
Fuck that. Alright, so what do I gotta do?
You roll your hit die and you add.
You roll your dice
Constitution
and
Move your
modifier.
mice.
and
Nobody
add your
gets
mice.
hurt.
Yeah, add
You
your
roll
mice.
your dice and add your mice. Alright.
Drop your socks and grab your crops. You win on this ride.
So,
I'm not gonna spend my hit die. For me, there's no need.
And now
I
it's
have full
6.
health. You can't if you want, because by the time we're done with this campaign, we'll have probably a long rest between us and finding Seebo again.
yeah, but like, who knows what else we have to face in this dungeon. I don't want to fucking just go down again.
So,
Him, it makes sense. Where are you at? 9 out of what?
9 out of 14.
I'd go for it. That way you don't have to waste your full play on hands.
So I roll a d8 then.
Yeah.
Full health.
I'll say don't even have to add your Constitution modifier to that.
Oh, I have to add my Constitution modifier?
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Oh, baby!
Oh, baby! Oh, boy! Oh, boy! Oh, boy! Goofy!
By the way, that literally exactly I'm exactly at 10 health now. So, maximum health.
Listening audience, if this last exchange somehow by the awful machinations of RJ makes it into the podcast, I sincerely apologize.
My guy's at 10 health now.
I'm at max. We're all at
Joan
max
is
health.
feeling fine.
Let's go.
I don't remember Mikael being much of a bodybuilder.
I mean, his strength is 16, so +3 modifier.
Whoa. Paint me red and call me a wagon.
I thought that's just because he was an elf and they're resilient.
Nah, he
All right.
constantly studies
Okay.
the art of war.
We're in a room with
His
four.
armor is like his second skin.
We're in a room with four dead
giant
ass rats.
Yes.
And then 2 living giant ass rats and Joan.
The weasel.
Anyone care to go skinning?
Anyways, are you doing anything else in this room before you proceed?
I kick one of the rats against the wall.
Is there a bounty for rats? Like there is for like raccoons? You can get.
Who's
there
doing a
anything
bounty
in this
for
room?
this?
So no, there's not a bounty on rats. This room does not really have a whole lot in it. It's kind of just,
I'm just an item fiend. What can I say?
You're at max HP again, right?
no,
We all are.
this room is just like an antechamber.
Okay.
So there's not really much in it. In fact, it's calling it a room is even being generous. It's more so just kind of a widening of the passageway that you were already in.
Gotcha.
It almost, I guess, would have the look of like sort of like a staging area, kind of like as people are coming out of the burrow, a couple of people can stand abreast in here before they continue on in the tunnel. So there's not really a whole lot going on in here.
So what you're saying is we definitely need to go, like, shoulder to shoulder power march through here now.
Like we could fit shoulder to
If
shoulder
you
through the next
want
tunnel.
to.
I suggest walking in a line like we usually do.
But next engagement,
All right.
let's split up a little bit.
I'll be in the middle again since I don't have a shield or shielding.
You want to take point or should I take point?
I'll take point.
I'll stick in the
highest
back. then.
AC.
Alright, guys. Form up.
What's your AC?
18.
Okay, yeah. Let's go.
As you continue farther on, this room, like I said, is not very big. Once it gets down to the other end, the passageway condenses back down again. into a sort of a smaller, sort of single-file passageway that slowly starts to widen and almost imperceivably, at some point it stops being a passageway that's been carved out and turns into a small cave system. Nothing too large. I mean, we're talking about, the ceiling is probably 10 to 12 feet, 30 or 40 feet across. I mean, obviously it's a cave, so it varies, but so nothing too massive. As you continue on a little bit farther, and you start to see there's a lot more moisture and there's a lot of mushrooms and other fungi that are growing.
Moist. The ground is very moist.
Can I do a nature check on those mushrooms? See if they're like poisonous or anything?
Yeah, sure. Do a nature check.
Meanwhile, check if they're
6.
You don't really see a whole lot going on with these mushrooms. They are more or less just mushrooms.
Alright.
So a little bit farther into the cave system, you come across a giant pillar in the center of the cave system that appears to be made entirely out of this fungal matter that's sort of all over the place. So it looks literally like a column of fungus that goes all the way up to the ceiling.
Like a column of little fungi? Or, is it one giant mushroom cell?
You can't really tell. It's this sort of mass that's almost kind of pulsing a little bit.
I'm going to cast Produce Flame
It's
at it.
completely made of fungi. It's not like fungi that's grown on the rock or whatever pillar. Or we just can't tell.
You can. I mean, from what you can see,
It is all fungi.
it's all fungi.
I'm
fun. Yeah.
casting Produce Flame at it and just chucking my flame at it.
I don't know
Okay.
if this is quite a smart idea. That coming from a guy that nearly burned down a forest.
What do you know?
So when you throw this firebolt, it hits the pillar, and the pillar, instead of catching on fire, your flame kind of fizzles out, but then it splits into 3 separate pieces that drop to the floor and pick themselves up, and what you see are 3 vaguely humanoid-looking living mushrooms.
I told you this wasn't a good idea.
At least
And
I did something.
you're gonna roll them bones for some initiative here.
19.
Mine is 12.
I rolled an 11.
Okay. First up here in the order is going to be Mikael.
Awesome.
I draw my rapier, and I'm gonna make a go at the first one that I can get my sword into.
Okay.
One all the way on the end. And I'm gonna make a stab for 18 against AC. Oh, wait, 20 against AC.
That'll hit.
23. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. 5 points of damage.
Alright, you hit him with your sword, and I think maybe you chop a couple of mushrooms off the side of him, but he's still looking pretty angry. So next up is going to be the mushroom at the end, M3. And he is going to, I think, jump up towards Joan and try to swipe at him. So it's a 10 versus AC.
That is not going to hit.
Okay, and he actually gets a second attack. 23.
Bye. I'm gonna die.
Are you, though?
Yeah, that's
How
a hit.
powerful are they? That's the real question.
What is this, just 1 point of damage?
It's 8 points of damage.
Oh my god!
Jonas Squishy!
Oh,
You said 8 points of damage?
8 points of damage.
And you didn't want us to heal up.
Next up is the Mushroom 2. He is going to try to attack Mikael. 13 versus AC.
That is not gonna hit.
Second attack, 24 versus AC.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. He gets you for 5 points of damage. Next
Oh,
up
like
is
you're ready to
Joan.
Complain about. Alright, Joan is going to attack the one who just attacked him.
A hit's still a hit, man.
He's going to shoot Ray of Frost at the one in front of him.
Okay.
That is 17 versus AC.
That'll hit him.
Okay, that is going to be on a hit. It takes 1d8 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn.
Okay.
He takes 2 damage. After he hits him with that, Joan is going to move behind Rhomash.
Okay.
You coward.
Well, I don't really have a shield. You are my shield.
And Rhomash is going to be up next.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna go up to Guy and
The one right in front of you?
right in front of me,
Okay.
and I'm gonna swing at him with my scimitar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a critical miss.
Well, that sucks, because he's going to take an opportunity strike at you. 17 versus AC.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
7.
I'm down to 4 HP. See what's gonna.
So next up is going to be the one that
That I stabbed.
that Mikhail initially went after. He's going to try to retaliate against Mikhail. That's that one's not going to hit. That's a 13. That's a 15.
That is also not going to hit.
Alright, so he takes 2 big sweeping slashes with his claws and is not quite able to connect with you on either one. I think you kind of just do a sort of a parry and
Sidestep.
move out of the way. Alright, next up is Mikhail.
Alright.
Throw his dice and run away.
Mikhail is not a coward. I'm going to go back after the same one that I was attacking before.
Okay.
With a nice thrust of my rapier. And that is a 24.
That will hit.
That's 9 points of damage.
Yeah, I think you hit him real good here. Take a big chunk out of the side of him. He's looking a little unsteady on his feet. Next up is the one right in front of Rhomash, so he's going to try and take another swing at Rhomash
I'm
here.
probably gonna die. I got 4 hit points.
I'm
dead.
That's a nat 20.
I'm definitely dead. It's +3 to a hit, and the lowest thing you can roll is a 1.
Good thing 2 were
That's a 7.
Yeah, I'm down on the ground.
He's out.
So
I'm crying.
don't even need to bother with taking his second attack there. Next up is one of the ones up by Mikhail. He's going to take a swing at you.
Wouldn't that be the one that went after Joan?
What?
The one that was,
No, the one that hit
The one that
me was
attacked
the
him?
one that went after
Joan moved behind him.
Oh, okay.
So the first swing on that is a 7. That's not going to do it. And a 16.
Still not gonna hit.
Okay. He is not able to connect with you either. So next up is Joan.
I'm going to use Chromatic Orb against the one that's fighting Rhomash.
Okay.
Well, I guess I shoot a 4-inch diameter sphere of energy at a creature that I can see within range. I can choose between acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder for the type of orb I create. I'm going to go with acid. And then make a ranged spell attack against the target. 20 versus AC.
Okay, yeah, that one's going to hit.
Okay, if the attack hits, the creature takes 3d8 damage of the type you choose.
Nice.
So 3d8 acid damage. So 5, 6, and 10 damage.
As you hit him with this acid attack, he stumbles back and we start to see parts of his torso and his arms kind of melt away a little bit. He actually stumbles back a foot or two away from Rhomash, but he is still on his feet, and he looks pretty angry now that you just threw acid at him. Next up, Sleepy Boy. Rhomash, throw us a saving throw here.
And that's a fail.
That would be a failure, yes, sir. Next up is the Mushroom Man that has been brutalized by Mikhail. He is very angry about such, so, well, that's not going to do it. That's a 9. And a 16.
Still not gonna hit.
And again, these Mushroom Men can just not connect with Mikhail for some reason. So Mikhail is up next.
Still going after the same one.
Alright.
With the 12 against AC.
That's not going to hit. So you take a swing with your rapier, but he's seen this attack several times now, and he is ready for it. He dodges out of the way just in time. Next up is the mushroom that was just acid attacked, and so he is going to actually jump forward and go after Joan. That's a 16 versus AC.
That, I think, is going to hit.
Okay. That's going to be a 7.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh my god.
Are you also...
I am down.
Okay.
We're so fucked.
Well, we have one man for
I
the
lose
job.
my character, I will be pissed.
Okay, well, next up is the second Mushroom Man over by Mikhail here.
They get 2 attacks.
I know, what the hell is this?
This is somebody that
is
decided to just shoot a bunch of
11.
mushrooms.
Not gonna connect.
He got pissed off that Seebo wasn't around and decided to kill us all.
and a 18.
Defender wins that one, right?
No, the die roller.
Attacker.
Die roller always
Also,
wins ties.
I have a pretty good idea of what happens if we die.
What?
Oh, wait.
Okay,
Never
that's
mind.
5 points of
Dying is
damage.
different.
Next up is Joan, who needs to make a saving throw here.
That's not a good save.
No.
That's, by which I mean it is not a... It is a fail.
That's almost a really bad save.
Yeah.
You almost got
rolled
two
rolled a
fails.
2. Okay, next up is Rhomash.
Oh, hey, cool. A win.
That's a win for Rhomash. Next up is another one of the mushrooms that's over by Mikhail, the one he's been slashing up on. That is a 21.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
That's at 4 points of damage.
So we're all down now.
As Mikhail drops to his knees, he surveys the battlefield. His foes stand above him, his friends lay unconscious around him, and just as he is about to drift into unconsciousness, he feels his spirit being pulled away from his body, rapidly, faster than anyone has ever traveled before, and suddenly he is standing before Bahamut. Not in a ritual prayer sort of way, but literally in front of the god Bahamut.
Dearest Bahamut, you have summoned me out of death's clutches. What is the task at hand? Am I finally at rest?
No. I still have need of your services on immortal plane. I'm here today to offer you a choice. I can grant you the power needed to slay your foes, but in return, you must give me a solemn promise. Somewhere along our journey, I will ask you to commit a terrible deed, and you must do so without question, no matter the consequences. In return for this promise, I am promised that your foes will be laid to waste. Do you accept my terms?
I have already sold my soul, Bahamut, for good and war in your service. Anything else is secondary. The deed is done.
And with that, you are pushed back into your body. Mikhail stands to his feet. His eyes glow with the red depths of hell, and his fingertips appear to crackle with a red electricity. And without any sort of movement or summoning, your weapons suddenly spring to your hands. And now, the fun begins. So, in this, you now have, for the next minute, 40 hit points. You get a +5 to all attack rolls, and you can either go it alone, or you can choose to give 10 of your hit points to one ally and revive them.
Well, I can save them after I cleared the room.
That's true, you can.
So, did this do anything to my AC, by the way?
No, all your other stats return, you just have this big pool of hit points, and you get the bonus to all of your attack rolls.
Okay. Then to speed combat, and they still have their saving throws.
They do,
I'm just going to go full on battle mode.
Well, coincidentally, you are up next in the order.
I'm going to go after the same mushroom that I have been.
Okay.
And that is a 29.
That is going to hit him.
Another 6 points of damage.
Okay. He is now looking incredibly shaky and not well, we'll say.
Still not dead.
Still not quite dead, but he is definitely... I mean, mushrooms don't bleed, but he looks like he is about ready to collapse. Oh, I forgot. You also get a second attack as well. Doesn't have to be the same target. You can go to somebody else within 10 feet of where you are. So basically, you could go after the other one, or you could go after the same guy.
I am going to attack the other mushroom.
Okay.
For 13 against AC.
That is actually going to hit. So that's 13 with all your modifiers.
You rolled the modifiers.
Wow, you rolled it for low then. So yeah, that's going to hit.
For 8 points of damage.
Okay. So next up is the mushroom that's over by Rhomash and Joan. And so seeing what's happened to his comrades, he is going to try to spring at you from behind to see if he can get a hit in on you. So that's going to be an 8, which will not hit. And a 18.
Yeah, that's
which will hit. Okay. And that's 4 points of damage.
Alright.
Next up is another one of the mushrooms, the second one that you hit, it's mushroom number 2. Gonna swing at you as well. That's a 10, not gonna hit. And a 9, also not gonna hit. I think that he is stunned just by the fury of your attacks and just kind of is not able to connect with his swings. Next up is Joan, and needs to do a saving throw here.
17.
Okay, Joan saves, and Rhomash saving throw as well.
I'll take an 18.
Okay, he saves as well. Next up is the mushroom that is not looking so well. That is a 9, not going to hit. 12, also not going to hit. So he's not able to connect as well. And Mikhail, you are again up.
I'm gonna go after this staggering mushroom.
Okay.
With a 28.
Yeah, that's going to hit.
For 10 points of damage.
Yeah, you jump forward and just with a yell, just completely cleave him shoulder to hip, and you still have a second attack that you can make.
Going after that second one there.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be a 22 against AC.
Okay.
For 9 points of damage.
He staggers from this hit and is looking really beat up now. Not quite done, but is not looking good. And so the one behind you is going to be up now. So 15.
Not going to hit.
And that's also not going to hit. That's a 12. So then after that is the one that you just did damage to. 15. Critical miss, actually. So
I don't think that one connects either.
no, so actually you're going to make an opportunity strike on him because he is beat up and off balance. So
14.
that'll hit him.
Another 8 points of damage.
And you topple him over and he crumbles to the ground as well. So next up is going to be Joan.
That's another success, 15.
Okay. Rhomash as well. Roll yours.
That's my success. I'm stable.
Okay. Rhomash is stabilized. Next up in the order is going to be Mikhail again.
14.
Okay, that's going to hit him.
Are we still inside that first minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
One round of combat is like 3 seconds.
It's 6.
Actually,
Okay.
there's 10
rounds is a minute.
rounds is a minute, yes.
Okay, we haven't done 10 rounds yet, so you're still...
9 points of damage.
Okay,
Second strike is 18
that's going to hit.
for 11 points of damage.
And this mushroom is vanquished as well. And so now, as your last foe topples, you sort of lose the fire in your eyes. And
I regain a hit point in 2 hours.
so the fire in your eyes goes down, the electricity from your hands fades, and you kind of go back to normal.
Do I
More or
go
less.
back to like 1 hit point, or are we talking full health?
No, you have full hit points.
Okay. I still had 3 points in my healing pool.
Yep.
I approach Joan and, with a wave of my hand over his darkening eyes, rise him out of his death-like slumber and bring him to life, granting him a point of health. And then I approach Rhomash, and again, with a wave of my hand, I shorten that span of 2 hours to merely seconds, and also bring him to life.
I know this goes without saying, but I think we should probably take a long rest.
And immediately kneel and begin praying to Bahamut.
Abigail! Oh, what a miss.
Hey. What happened? Did I die?
Alright, so, Bronson, just real quick, what is your normal health pool, by the way?
The healing pool?
No, your HP.
14.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
So one long rest later.
Oh, we're doing a long rest? Okay.
May as well. We're 1 hit point each. I have 1 spell slot.
Do we get the XP for the rats?
Yeah, we're at 113 before this fight. How much do we get for
I
this
thought we
fight?
were at 119.
13.
You're each going to get 200 XP for this fight.
We're level 2! Level up! Let's hold that long rest for a second until we figure this all out.
Oh, which now I gain dueling.
So this thing that I came up with for you, Bronson, just more so for mechanics, is called Bahamut's Fury. And so Bahamut's Fury can only be summoned when the entire party has gone down. And from what the choice that basically what will happen is that at one point of my choosing, Bahamut will ask you to do something that could potentially be contrary to what you even want to do. And you basically have to obey, or it's insta-death.
Is there anywhere on the character sheet for putting sorcery points?
You just make up a spot. I had to make up a spot for breath weapon.
Alright.
I put it under, like, features or
I
something.
won't put it under attacks and spellcasting.
I just gained another spell slot, which is nice.
I guess I gain spellcasting as well.
I also get Wild Shape and my Druidic Circle.
Also, my lay on hands now goes up to 10.
Wild Shape, I can assume the shape of a beast that I have seen before. I have to have seen this beast before to be able to assume its shape. I can use it twice before a short or long rest. Originally, there's a max CR limitation, but because of my Druidic Circle that I chose, which is Circle of the Moon, at second level, I gain the ability to use it on my turn not only as a bonus action rather than an action. I can use it to transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as 1, rather than 1/4. I can't turn into a beast with flying or swimming speeds until level 4, and until level 8, I can't become any that have flying speed. My game statistics are replaced by the statistics of the beast, except for my alignment, personality, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. I get all my skill and saving throw proficiencies, in addition to gaining those of the creature. I use the higher one if I have the same proficiency. When I transform, I take the beast's hit points and hit dice. And when I revert to my normal form, I return to the number of hit points I had before I transformed. But if I'm dealt damage that exceeds the amount I have left as the creature, it carries over into my normal form. I can't cast spells, and my ability to speak or take an action requires hands is limited to my form. However, if I cast a spell that requires concentration before turning, I can still maintain concentration for that spell, such as Call Lightning. I still get the benefits of my class, race, or any other source, and I can still use them if I'm physically capable. However, I won't be able to use my breath weapon. I can't use any special senses such as Dark Vision unless my new form also has that sense. And all of my equipment, by my choice, will be morphing into my body, so you'll say I become a tiger, you'll probably see the shape of a sword or a shield on me. So basically,
How long does it last?
It lasts, where is it? You can stay in B shape for a number of hours equal to half your druid level rounded down. And because I start this at level 2, I get an hour to start with. And I can revert to it earlier using a bonus action, and I automatically revert back if my beast mode runs out of HP points. And remember, these are only beasts, so I can't become zombies, I can't become dragons, which is such a pity. And they have to be of challenge rating 1 or lower at the moment.
Rhomash enters beast mode.
Hell yeah. Starting at level 6, I can transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as my druid level, divided by 3, rounding down. So at 6th level, I can become challenge rating 2 beasts. At 9th level, I can become 3, and so on. And then there are other things I gain as I go. And that's all you really need to know at the moment. I'm going to do my new hit point maximum.
What do we add to that one?
To what?
The hit point maximum.
You roll your hit die that you have, and you add your Constitution modifier. I rolled a 2, and I only got 5 extra.
I rolled a 2, so I got 6.
What's your Constitution? Oh, your Constitution
Plus
4.
4.
Nice. So I'm at 16 hit points, maximum.
20.
Are we going to do a long rest?
Alright, so now I gotta roll the 1d6 to add to my HP.
Mm-hmm. Add your Constitution modifier. 6?
Yep.
You lucky bastard.
So, literally jumped from 10 HP to 20 max HP.
Wow, you're not as... I'm squishier than you are now.
No, we're getting somewhere. Also, to be super safe, I gave myself the new spell. It's a first level spell, False Life. Bolstering yourself with a necromant.
Oh yeah, you get temporary hit points.
You gain 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points for duration. So minimum amount of 5. So between 5 and 8 hit points for...
How long does it last?
An hour.
An hour? Nice.
Which basically is going to be in any combat situation if I have a spell slot and want to use it. I have 1 extra spell slot, basically. Joan is amicable for getting a long rest on.
Alright, well, go ahead and take a siesta in this,
This DM did not say no.
DM came down, he's like, alright.
Oh,
go ahead and take a siesta in this mushroom cave.
On your level. At least now we have 2 hit dice. And
we do?
Yeah, we have 2 hit dice now. We can spend short rests to regain health. 1 for every level. Oh, and if your constitution,
so we fully regain health.
Yes,
if you increase your constitution modifier by 1, you gain 1 hit point to your maximum for every level you are.
Oh yeah, I gained Divine Smite now. So starting at the 2nd level, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can expend 1 spell slot to deal radiant damage to the target. In addition to the weapon's damage, the extra damage is 2d8 for the first level spell slot, plus 1d8 for each spell level higher than the first, to a maximum of 5d8. The damage increases by 1d8 if the target is undead or a fiend.
Well, alright then.
Rick, what did you get?
2 sorcery points.
That's it?
Yeah.
So he can get a spell slot back.
Well, and I got another spell slot. And I told you, I gave myself False Life.
See, you get a spell right away. I have to wait before a long rest until I can...
So you guys are taking a long rest, correct?
Correct. Regain all our stuff.
Alright, so after your long rest, you proceed farther into the cave, and you notice that the floor has started to slope upwards a little ways, and you are actually getting closer to the surface until eventually you actually break into, even though it's still enclosed and dark, the walls are now stone instead of dirt, and you can only summarize that what's happened is you've come out inside of one of the ruined buildings of the Garden of Stone. And as you kind of come out of this tunnel and are standing on the flat ground, you see a single green eye appear in the darkness. And it sort of gazes at you for a moment. And then with a leap, a creature about 5 feet in size leaps towards you. It's got 4 legs, a body with spines along its back, and it sort of runs across the ground, sort of like a hound. But it's got this sort of head that just becomes dominated by a giant green eye. And it's gonna come charging right at you, and so we're gonna need to do a little bit of initiative rolling here.
What is this thing?
We'll figure it out in a second.
It sounds like a green cyclops.
It's a Nothic.
I'm assuming it's not a beast.
He got an 11. 16.
Rhomash got an 8.
So, first up is going to be Joan in the order.
Joan draws out his revolver and is going to attempt to shoot a firebolt at him.
Okay.
11 versus AC.
That is not going to hit. So your firebolt just kind of passes him harmlessly and catches the stone on fire. No. I'm just kidding. No,
he turns the wall into a window.
No, you miss him, and the bullet goes past him harmlessly.
Alright, Joan is going to then move behind Rhomash and Mikhail. Wait, are we kind of just shoulder to shoulder?
We're kind of just shoulder
I don't know.
to shoulder.
Are you?
Okay. I'm gonna get behind at least one of them, because they both have shields up.
Who?
I'm gonna get behind Mikhail.
Let's say he's got the higher AC. You may as well.
Save me! Save me! I can't shoot my gun!
Mikhail is up next.
That's a 17.
17 will hit. You attacking with your rapier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And since I'm on the path of dueling, that'll be 3d8. Is each roll plus the
3, 8.
Yeah, because wait, is it 2?
You know, it's +2 to your attack roll.
Plus 2. Okay.
To bonus damage. +2 bonus damage whenever you hit him.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
Oh, right. Divine Smite was the 2d8.
So yeah, I think you do plus 2 plus whatever you're
So
buffing.
13 damage.
You hit this guy, and he reels backwards, and, actually, as he reels backwards, he is going to jump over to the edge of the room onto the wall and climb up about 15 feet, and then he's going to try and jump down, and he's going to try to jump down onto Rhomash.
I guess it's his turn.
And then it is his turn, yes. Yeah, that's going to be a 22.
That definitely did it.
That's going to be 4 points of damage.
Alright.
And he's actually going to flatten you to the ground when he lands on top of you and hit you with his claw, and then he's going to take a second attack at you now that he's sitting on top of you.
That was a second attack shit.
15.
Nope, not gonna do it.
Okay, so his second attack, you're actually able to sort of hit him with your arm and sort of push the second claw out of the way. And then Rhomash, it is your turn now.
I'm gonna first try and shove him off of me.
So do a strength check.
Okay. Okay, I got 18.
Yeah, I think you're able to push him off of you.
Okay. And then as my action, I'm going to swing at him with my scimitar.
Well, are you gonna stand up, or are you swinging from the ground?
I'm gonna stand up.
Okay, so you're gonna
then-
stand up and then swing at him. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
15
Yeah, that'll hit him.
for 7 points of damage.
Okay. Joan, you were up.
Joan is going to attempt to shoot Firebolt at him again.
Okay.
8.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it.
Alright.
Mikael is up.
19
A 19 will hit.
for 6 points of damage.
Okay.
No, wait. Plus 2, so that would be 8.
Okay, next up is the creature, and Mikael, this creature's actually going to turn its eye towards you, and as you lock eyes with it, you almost feel the intensity of its gaze increase. And I'm going to need you to do a Constitution saving throw.
11.
You feel his gaze intensify, and then it almost feels like your skin starts to crawl. And you are going to take 7 points of necrotic damage.
You alright there, Mikael?
I don't feel so good.
And Rhomash is up now.
Hell with it, I'll swing at him with my scimitar again.
Okay.
Nope, that's a 7.
That is not going to do it.
With that.
Joan, you are up.
Alright, doing another Firebolt.
Alright.
9 versus
Yeah.
AC.
Yes, Joan is going to whiff for the third time.
Put your damn gun away!
It's my best way of fighting.
Actually, that's your only way of fighting that. Oh, wait, no, you
I have
daggers.
2 daggers.
Even though Joan's shot missed, the firebolt whizzing through the air was enough to sort of break the gaze that this thing had locked eyes with Mikael. And so now, Mikael, it is your turn.
That's a 20.
20 will hit.
10 points of damage.
Okay.
I'm loving dueling, by the way.
Yes. Yes,
You didn't really need anything defensive because your AC so fucking high already.
Well, that would be my armor.
So,
The
next
moment
up
I drop
is
that
the
shield, I
creature.
got 16 AC.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm dropping my shield.
Joan, I need you to roll a charisma check.
Alright. 17.
You feel this creature as it locks eyes with you, you almost feel its presence start to invade your mind, but you are able to mentally kind of put up some barriers and push him out, and at the feeling of being repelled, he's actually, with a scream, going to jump towards you and try to make an attack at you.
Okay.
So that's going to be a 23.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. It's going to be 6 points of damage.
Okay.
Rhomash, you are up.
Let's try this again. I'm going to try and hit him with a scimitar. 11.
A 11 is not going to do it. We'll say you actually tried to swing at him as he was jumping through the air, going after Joan, and you were not quite able to hit him. So, next up is Joan.
Joan is going to use Firebolt.
Does Joan have any spell slots left? Damn.
This is a
Firebolt
cantrip.
is a
He can use it as
cantrip.
many times as he wants. Luckily, it's not a super powerful one.
That is again going to be a 9 versus AC.
That will still not hit.
I'm guessing its AC is 12 or something like that.
Mikael, you are up.
13.
That is not going to do it.
4 armor.
So next up is the creature. He's going to jump away from Joan actually and go after Mikael again. 16,
Not gonna do it.
and then he's going to make a second attack for 8. Also not going to do it.
Surprisingly, it hit.
Out of the blue!
Rhomash, you are up.
I'm getting pretty damn sick and tired of this. I'm gonna put my sword away and cast friggin' produce flame at it.
Okay.
Oh, damn, nat 20.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
I rolled damage twice. So that's 7, 14 fire damage.
Yeah, you impact this flame into this creature, and he just screeches and tries to sort of turn his eye on you, and you can feel him trying to sort of invade your mind, but then the life force just slips out of him and it slumps to the ground motionless.
Joan, that's how you do it.
Now, if you just want to shut the hell up.
How much experience did we get for that?
Alright, so you
I will
guys are gonna
take
get-
aim at you if you don't shut your damn trap.
Bring it. You couldn't hit us if you wanted to.
You this day.
150 for each of you.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're at 463 experience points. First I'm going to do a
Didn't we
percent.
just come out of one of the buildings?
We're in
a
the-
building.
You're inside of the... So I should have... as far as you can see right now, you don't immediately see any way out. You're
Okay,
sort
just
of
kind of like a path ahead.
Basically, you came through this burrow, right, and it sort of came out into this big stone room that you can kind of deduce just because you were outside before that you are inside of one of the ruins. There's no perceivable way out at the moment.
Rhomash is going to do a perception check.
Okay.
20.
With a 20, you can see that hidden away in the corner in a pile of rubble, there is a chest
Which
that
I-
contains 600 gold pieces.
And we split it 3 ways.
200 apiece for each of you. And you can see upon some investigation that there is a sort of a loose stone that when you pull it out sort of reveals a mechanism that opens up part of the wall and leaves it in a passage that takes you back out to the surface. You climb to sort of one of the ruined buildings that's up near, closer to the top of the hillside, and kind of extends. This was, even the rubble of it extends to about 2.5 stories up. So you kind of climb up to the top of that and set up a small encampment to watch out for Seebo until he returns. Is there anything you guys in particular want to sort of do in this encampment, or are you guys just kind of setting up for...
I think we'll just
To
set
wait
up
for
to wait
Seebo.
for Seebo. We'll count as a
Is
long
there
rest
any-
and get all our...
These ruins, has there been anything like kind of like metal laying around?
Not really. I mean, not apparent. I mean, if you wanted to go out and scavenge...
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go out and scavenge.
You
for
could
any
make
metal.
golden bullets.
Because I am a smith, and I would like to try and fashion some makeshift bullets.
Okay.
Doesn't a smith need a forge?
Do you have any
Well,
of the...
I know, but you had me make a raft.
We
kind of
rope,
bending the
though.
rules anyway.
We had a rope and timber.
No, we didn't make a...
We were gonna.
We were going.
You assigned
We were
me
in
to
a
make a
force.
raft because I am
And then
a smith.
Mossy decided to not let me grab his arm.
Anyways,
to take it
okay,
to the pile.
I want to go foraging for any metal to kind of makeshift into bullets.
Are you, like, carrying the proper tools to even do this? I mean, just to start with, like, you're gonna need a mold for the bullets, and
A smelter.
At
And-
least,
I mean-
like,
gunpowder.
I feel like the smith's tools would have what he needs specifically.
Yeah, that's
in
kind of
this
what I was
continuity.
leaning
It's
towards. with my
vague.
smith
It
tools.
is vague. I don't think he'd have the materials.
Like, I fashioned myself a
Found
gun. I think I would be ready to fashion myself bullets to go with it, if need be.
If you found metal, I would think.
Logically.
Because I made my own gun, too.
Okay, let's do it this way. Roll me a, there's not really a check for foraging, is there? Let's do survival.
Okay.
So do survival.
I am amicable to that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
And so then do a, D4
Okay.
plus 2.
So that is 3.
Okay, so you are able to fashion 3 more bullets.
Fine by me.
Write
After
that down,
this.
what he just did.
So, yeah, so what we're going to do for
Okay.
fashioning bullets is a survival check. 10 and below is a fail, 11 above is a success. Right. If you're successful in your survival check to be able to go out and find metal, then it's a D4 plus 2, and that's how many bullets you can recover.
Yep.
And then, we'll say this counts for a long rest where applicable. I guess, like, if you guys are, like, out in an Arctic tundra, probably not going to be able to find metal.
Yeah.
But if it fits, we'll say anytime you do a long rest, you can do one of these checks.
No, you can find Stalream in the far reaches of Skyrim.
Maybe we could find Titanic.
But yeah, so we'll
Stuck in
say...
glaciers.
Okay, and then I imagine we're all going to take a long rest.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're all waiting for Seebo, so I think at this
Alright.
point you're setting up camp and just...
Yeah, Joan sets up a bonfire for everybody, and he kind of leans back on the ground and is adding the bullets to his stock and reloading his gun and getting it set.
I'm gonna go fetch those giant rats and cook us some dinner.
Is he going to save some nice crispy bacon for Mr. Frodo, too?
Make sure you throw some
Fuck him.
mushrooms in for the stew.
And then he's gonna tip his hat forward and
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just some shrooms.
and fall asleep.